prospecting doesn't need to be fancy. A client is a client no matter how you found them. So, okay, in this video, I'm just going to talk about what actually held me back from making progress right away in getting clients. And yeah, basically prospecting is the way that you actually like get clients, or some people call it lead generation or marketing, or no matter how you call them. But yeah, that's like the number one thing that you need to do anytime if you're like actually wanting to sell your services or start a business. And you just need eyeballs, or you need people who you can help with your business or with your service. And the realization, I was like watching a video from a newsletter today, and someone mentioned prospecting doesn't need to be elaborate. And I mean, yeah, this was like and again, ironically, this was an unfancy moment that triggered like a very useful thought, which was like our realization, which was I thought about my own experience. Like one of my clients that I got came from an events which I didn't even realize that I was going to get a client from. And but thankfully, like not from like a 500-person email cold email list, or not from like a perfect cold email sequence, but yeah, just from asking a question. I just it was just like an event, and she was a speaker, and I just asked them a question, and they, I don't know, they seemed to like I don't know, like or trust me or whatever. But yeah, maybe just thought we would give this guy a shot or whatever. And that's when I click, and I got a client as a client. So when I thought about that and what this person from the video that I've seen from the newsletter said, I just thought, okay, so actually, like a client is a client no matter how I found them, and it doesn't need to be from a fancy thing. I mean, yeah, my unfancy client story, as I said. So yeah, I just like to talk to you about the event. So as I said, I just went to an event. There was a Q&A session. I asked the first question. So yeah, my question was that I came to university planning to build a business alongside studying, and I was like really betting on this, but I was super disappointed because I found and realized I cannot do it, or cannot do any kind of business, because I'm an international student on a visa, and it's like not allowed and it's illegal. I tried if there's any way to like evade this, or any like workarounds for this. But yeah, there's no. I mean, I cannot just like I don't know, like send money to my parents' bank account or whatever. That's it still would be tracked. And yeah, so that aside, but yes, and I was super disappointed about that. And I just asked about this, like how can I move forward with this? And some back and forth happened. They answered me, and then there was like a pitch opportunity where I just got the mic for like 5 to 10 seconds, and I just said what I do. I said I do AI automation services for businesses, and help them to increase their revenue, or or save them time. And yeah, what happened next? One of the speakers came up to me after and gave me her card and said, "I want to speak to you and let's meet." And that's the result in how I got a client. That's the story. And the method is like I just showed up. I mean, it was not like a prospecting method that I did, but yeah, I mean, you could absolutely do it if you're like actually looking to give value to people, and not just like being like very salesy and stuff or that. Yeah, yeah, and it worked because I was natural and I was not actually like looking to get a client there. But yeah, and that's how I got it. It was like a very not fancy, unorthodox way, but it works. It worked. So yeah, and what I thought prospecting had to look like, and not just prospecting, anything that like has these fancy results, or anything to do with making money, or anything that has like fancy results. I thought fancy systems or fancy processes need to be made to get fancy results. But oftentimes, what I've realized recently is fancy results often come from very unfancy, boring things that is just done over and over for a period of time. So yeah, or it's just like boring things that bring about all these like fancy things. And I just had this bad notion which was like stalling my progress in a way. So yeah, the fancy version I had in my head, I had to have this like 500-person or 1,000-person lead list, and perfect segmentation and high level copywriting, and put them all together, and I send it over, and boom, I just land many sales calls, and from there I get a client. So like I have this like complex funnel and everything. And don't get me wrong, I think cold email is like a wonderful opportunity. Platform where you can like get clients. But yeah, it does require some skill, and it's not just something that you can like spam and like land a client. It requires like skill of copywriting, or you need to like know the right people to track about, or lead scraping or whatever. So yeah, the problem like yeah, I mean, I've also I'm seeing some problems with cold email, which is I wouldn't say problem, but yeah, just concerns, which is like in my community, who are like a lot of AI automation people, doing kind of similar to what I do. They just say they're just like trying it, and they say it's not like working as much as like it used to, and they say they're actually struggling with it. And yeah, because like there's a lot of nuance and skill required, and it's not just something that like a lot of people claim, something you just go and then just like make money out of it. So yeah, it also is a skill that you just learn and takes time to get good at. And the result, I kept stalling and waiting to learn more and waiting to perfect the system. So yeah, this is the result of me like waiting for, I don't know, like the fancy thing. And the fancy thing is often not clear, so you just stall, and that's what like doesn't make progress. And the contrast is fancy prospecting, like elaborate systems or perfect processes or scalable automation, professional approach and everything. But I mean, what's the actual thing that works? Simple prospecting. Show up somewhere, and it's basically the principles behind this. Like, don't look for the trends, because trends change, but then the principles, the foundation doesn't. It's something that goes on, and that is what actually makes things work, and not the trend, which stays for some time and doesn't after the period. So yeah. And what's the principle is like, talk to people and actually connect to people and solve a problem, give value upfront and build that connection. And that is the principle behind how you actually get clients. And both can work, but the first one is like, I mean, yeah, you just have to like, it just works with the trend. And I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that you need to know exactly what works and then like go about it. You need to know 100% that something works and then go about it. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. You have to like throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And that is how, I mean, and also like give an approach time and not decide early on if that something doesn't work. Give it the time that it requires, and usually there's like a lag in the market before you I don't know, like, yep. But I mean, the fancy way often gets people to overthink and stall action and not take action, and ignoring the simple way, which is like a thing that I did. And yeah, which is something that I default do now as well, which I have to like realize and knock down. So yeah, why do we default to the fancy way? Because I mean, reasons we I mean, I'll just speak for myself. Reasons I build elaborate systems, or I mean, that's what usually people talk about. And cold email courses, lead gen systems, automation tutorials, all of these are like great. But I mean, it just feels more professional. Like real businesses do it this way. Like I just had this notion, and scalable is equal to legitimate. And I mean, but the result was like it just stalled action. I mean, there are like wonderful ways that you can go about this. Like, I'm not saying, but it's often like simple things like do 10 Upwork applications per day. Or yeah, it can be like very unorthodox way, and you can like come up with a creative way which has the principles behind this, which is like talk to people, give them value upfront, and once yeah, and just build that trust, know like and trust factor. That is what someone needs before they I mean, that is what someone needs to have of you so that they can do business with you. And yeah, if it has those principles, and even if it's like simple and boring, but it would work. Like, yeah. And we don't think about the simple way, which because it just sounds too simple and boring and can't possibly work. Yeah, I just had this notion, and it's probably not worth trying. But the truth that I realized was the fancy way takes longer to set up, and the simple one is like usually something that this when you start to realize that there's like simple ways that you can do stuff, you can just do stuff today, because that is something that you can customize for your own situation or whatever. So yeah, and a client is a client no matter where you get them. It doesn't matter if it comes from like 1,000 person or 500 person cold list, or a LinkedIn post, or whatever, like very like complicated funnel, or it comes from like someone you met at a coffee shop, or I don't know, like train, metro. Yeah, opportunity is opportunity, and client is client. So yeah, stop gatekeeping yourself with I need to come up from the right channel. It needs to be professional. It needs to be scalable. I mean, all of those are not wrong, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say, which is do not stall action because you think it needs to be fancy. It doesn't need to be fancy. And what I'm not saying is you shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing cold email, or you shouldn't be doing all these things that a lot of people are talking about, because there I do think that cold email is like scalable, and if we have the right skills, we can like make it work wonders with cold emails. But I mean, it doesn't need to be that at the start. Like, if it is something that is probably not the thing that you would want to go for right away, or I don't know, like maybe you wouldn't want to invest in setting up cold email campaigns right away. And yeah, I mean, the simple things work as well as good. Yeah, so yep. which is what I'm trying to say. And the danger of elaborate systems, like you can spend months if you're like just starting to like build a lead list. You have no idea of like any marketing terms of like leads and stuff. You would just get, I mean, you just like had to learn a lot of the stuff and write the perfect cold email, set up the perfect automation, planning the perfect sequence, and never actually talk to anyone. Now, I mean, in all of this, like the one thing that I would remind myself or keep asking myself is like, is this leading me more to actually talking to potential clients or not? If that's a no, then probably I'm doing the wrong thing. And meanwhile, someone else showed up to an event, asked the question, and got a client. Who's ahead? Yeah, I'll let that to you. But yeah, what I'm doing differently. Old thinking, I need to build this elaborate system first and it needs to be professional and scalable. A fancy way is the right way. Now I'm thinking, where can I get more eyeballs on me? Like, where can I actually like increase my chances of like me talking to people? And how can I do it the most fastest way? And where can I actually build these connections? And where can I solve actual business problems for people? And yeah, it doesn't need to be fancy. It can be simple and still work. So yeah, examples like yeah, attend. I mean, it's not that like you have to do everything of this, but yeah, um, it can be just like starting to post on LinkedIn or attending some events and building some connections or doing a 10-second. I don't know, like yeah, it can be comment on posts. And I mean, but all of these, if just done random, doesn't actually work. It needs to be like very specific, and it needs to be like a daily action that you do for a consistent period of time, and stick to I mean, pick a strategy and stick to it and see if it actually works and test it out. And if it doesn't, then move to the other one. Like don't just send comments one day and then yeah, you'd have to like stick to one thing. And that's something that I'm learning. I mean, yeah, all of these can lead to clients, but none of these require I mean, none of this them like wants you to like have an elaborate system. But yeah, but don't ignore the fancy way, which is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying fancy systems don't work. Please don't take that out of the video. Cold email can work, or I would say like will work if done the right way. And LinkedIn automation does work, and 500-person list like does work. The point is like don't only lean to the fancy way. Don't wait for the fancy way to be perfect. Do both and be creative with it. And yeah, build systems. Like yeah, just I mean, the thing is like don't stall action because like you have to because you think that okay, that person is like having this very fancy LinkedIn content automation system, so I need to like have that as well. If not, I'm gonna not gonna get a client. I mean, that was something that stalled progress for me for a long time. And yeah, the fancy way scales, the simple way gets you started. And yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know, like probably okay, that is something. But okay, you need both eventually. And yeah, but start with simple because like simple things are like easier to start. And my LinkedIn example now, what I'm thinking about is I mean, I just built a LinkedIn a content automation system for a client, and I'm thinking to like how I can clone this for myself and automatically generate valuable posts and build audience over time and create traffic and engagement for my LinkedIn, because I think LinkedIn is something that people underestimate and not actually use as much as they can. And there's like a lot of people, business people on LinkedIn, a lot of my potential clients on LinkedIn. So yeah, become credible in my space. And this is like this is the fancy way, but it will compound over time. And I mean, the fancy way is like me building a system for this, but I'm just doing it because I already have the system and I can just like tweak it to myself really easily. But if not, I wouldn't like think about like building this system from scratch, the perfect system first and then posting. I would just start to post manually because that is like the simple way that I can go about it, although it's not fancy. And then I would like know the nuances of like every single thing that goes into it, and then I can automate it once I know about it, instead of like trying to like automate it right from the get-go. And yeah, but while I'm setting that up, I can also just talk to people, solve problems, and build connections. And yeah, that's like the principle behind it. And yeah, the approach it doesn't actually matter. I mean, it does matter, but I mean, the approach doesn't need to be the one stopping you. So yeah, don't wait for the system to be perfect. Start with what you can do today. So yeah, the simplest form of prospecting, if you want to be a prospect, you have to join my $5,000 course. Kidding. No, I don't have a $5,000 course, but what I'm saying is like, the absolute simplest way that has worked for me is Upwork. So people already know that. I mean, yeah, there's like a ladder on prospecting. I mean, clients are people that you're reaching out to, or leads. So Upwork has like the highest quality of these leads. And what do I mean by that? People on Upwork, like Upwork is this freelancing platform where people post for gigs, and you can, as a freelancer, just apply and get on the roll. and get paid for that. So yeah, people already know that they have a problem on Upwork, like because they know that they have a problem, which is why they're posting these jobs and things that they need help with, and they already know they want a solution, and they also know what the solution is. At least have an idea of the solution, and they're just actually looking for the best person that can solve this problem for them, and they are ready to pay. Like they have the budget set up, which is why they're posting this job in this first place. And you just need to show you are the right person who can solve it for them. And compare this with like cold outreach, like not just cold outreach, like any other thing. You have to like probably convince them that they even, people probably don't even know that they have a problem, so you have to convince them that they have a problem. And then once you've done that, now you have to convince them there's a solution, and then convince them, okay, they're like, okay, that's the solution, and then you have to convince them that you are the perfect solution for that. That is too much friction, and that requires like a lot of trust, or for them to believe that like you're credible enough. And it just, Upwork skips the high friction steps 1 and 2, and they're already at step 3. And I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's definitely one of the simplest that has worked for me. And yeah, it's really simple as well. You just need to start posting. And if you want to know like how you can do that, I made a video on that. I think it's called How I Got My First AI Automation Client from Upwork. And do check that out. So yeah, I just share very detail on how you can go about it, and yeah, every single thing. And if you have any more questions, like do drop them in the comments, and I will respond to every single comment. And yeah, stop thinking opportunities need to come from the right channel, the professional way, or anything that needs that looks fancy. It can come from just a very simple thing, like in conversation, or events, or a question you asked, or connection you made, or any problem you solved. So yeah, the simple way also works. So yeah, don't gatekeep yourself. Don't wait for the perfect system or like whatever. So yeah, just put yourself out there and talk to people, and get yourself to do those daily actions that over time, and test them out and see what sticks on the wall. So yeah, that is what I would tell myself. And yeah, what you should ask yourself: do I have the perfect prospecting system? Like yeah, it's not just something that you build from the get go and then do prospecting. It's just something that you have after you've done like a lot of simple steps. And yeah, it's something that you get over time. And so don't see these people with perfect prospecting system and think that you would need to have that from the get go as well. But yeah, the questions are like, am I putting myself in front of people? Am I building those connections? Am I actually solving problems? Or yeah, I mean, the thing is like, am I actually getting on calls and talking with these people? If not, like, how can I do that? That should be the question. So yeah, the channel doesn't matter as much as showing up. Like if you're not like showing up, or if you're not actually like doing any daily actions, then the channel doesn't matter at that point. I mean, you should I suggest that you just find a way to like do those daily actions. So yeah, instead of I need to build this elaborate system first, do like you could attend an event, or ask question publicly, or comment on I don't know, like yeah, but don't do stuff randomly. As I said, just pick a way and then just do it. As I said, if you're just starting out, Upwork is the best way that I'd suggest. And yeah, I'll just skip all of them. Yep. And yeah, test, don't assume. Like that is another thing. I thought I needed to know 100% that a thing worked and then do it. But yeah, I thought if something's like too simple and boring, it's probably not like good enough to get me fancy results. But that was not the case. A lot of the time, boring things like gave away all those like fancy results. So yeah, give it reasonable amounts of time and see if it works. Test an approach, and only after testing can you say this works for me or it doesn't. So yeah, not before. And key takeaways again. So yeah, a client is a client no matter how you found them, and fancy prospecting systems aren't the only way. And simple ways work too. Helping people, conversations, and events. And don't keep yourself thinking it needs to be professional or it needs to look fancy. The process doesn't need to look fancy. It can be boring and can still work. So yeah, you can build systems and talk to people. So yeah, you have to like find the right balance, and yeah, be smart enough with that. And yeah, the simplest way, as I said, I would get started if I'm starting from zero today, would be Upwork. So yeah, and unfortunately I cannot use this platform because that's freelancing, and I'm bound to not do it legally. So yeah, that's quite unfortunate, but you can. So yeah, you probably can. And yeah, the question you need to ask yourself is like, am I putting myself in front of people? Do I have the perfect system? So yeah, test approaches and don't assume they won't work. And daily actions is always greater than perfect plans, which is not going to come. I mean, those perfect plans come up as you do the daily actions and not the other way around. And yeah, stop waiting for fancy and start doing simple stuff that actually works. And yeah, I hope this was like valuable. And Yeah, I hope like I somehow like got what I wanted to get across quite well. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. And if you have any more questions or like just want to reach out, or if you're a business owner looking to for AI automation solutions, do reach out. And I'd be absolutely stoked to like get on a call to like discuss how I can help you get more leads or save you more time or streamline your business process. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and have a lovely rest of the day. Cheers.